Welcome to the Unconditionally Worthy Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Adia Gooden, a licensed clinical psychologist who believes deeply that you are worthy unconditionally. Hello, and welcome to episode 32 of the Unconditionally Worthy Podcast. I am so excited to share this episode with you. On this episode, I have one of my former course members, Natasha Koscak, talking to us about her self-worth journey and how the Unconditionally Worthy Course really supported her in her journey to embracing her unconditional self-worth. You are going to want to tune in because Natasha shares how life was pretty challenging for her before taking the course. She would wake up in the morning, not really wanting to face the day and feeling sad. And after the course, she is living such a rich and vibrant life. She wakes up every morning smiling. She has a new job. She has a new partner, and she really is living a full and vibrant life. And that is my goal for people who take the Unconditionally Worthy program. So I am so excited to share this with you. She shares her insights into her own self-worth journey, how the course helped her. And so I really want you to listen and dive into this information. And for those of you who are interested in Unconditionally Worthy, I know I have not launched it. I have not released it in months. I will be releasing it soon. I plan to relaunch this course, this program, in January, probably in late January. So please stay tuned. Make sure you listen to this episode, get all of the gems and the wisdom that Natasha is sharing, and learn about the power, the transformative power of embracing your unconditional self-worth. So hello, I am so excited to welcome one of my former course members on the podcast today. And her name is Natasha Koscak. She is a former bartender who has been able to use the pandemic to quiet the chaos from her childhood trauma, to face herself and become an emotional warrior while discovering her unconditional worth. How powerful is that? While so many of us have struggled during the pandemic to use this time when we were all sort of metaphorically told to sit down, or many of us were metaphorically told to sit down, to use that as an opportunity to grow. And, I know Natasha because we sort of first connected on the interwebs. Natasha participated in a self-compassion challenge that I did in January of 2021. And then she was one of the first members of my Unconditionally Worthy course. And I really invited Natasha on today because I wanted her to share her experience and her journey. She really embraced the work that we did in the course, the process, and has come out really embracing her unconditional self-worth. And I wanted her to tell you all about that. So Natasha, thank you so much for making the time. I'm really happy to have you here on the podcast today.
Thank you, Dr. Adia. It's so good to be here. I thank you so much for all the ways that you've helped me to be able to be standing in my authentic self today and really feeling my true worth. I am so grateful to you.
So you're welcome. And, I start all of my podcast interviews where I have a guest with a question of, can you share a bit about your self-worth story? And we're going to kind of dig into more of the details of your self-worth story, but I'd love for you to just kind of share maybe overview of kind of how you think about your own journey to embracing your unconditional self-worth.
I think for me, this journey has been, I liken it to a marathon without training for it. It has been long. It's been sluggish at times. And it's been a beautiful process as well. I never had much worth in myself growing up from trauma. It just left me with no confidence. And, I feel that I just got stuck. I got stuck in a loop of being in a job that left me feeling unworthy, relationships where I couldn't be my full self that left me feeling unworthy.
Mm.
and just crippling shame every day waking up to. And again, I'm grateful for how the internet was able to connect me to you.
Mm.
I think I started following you in the fall of 2019, and the pandemic hit, and I was a bartender in San Francisco, so obviously everything shut down. And I decided that I was gonna start facing myself,
Mm.
because I had the time to be able to do so. I had the privilege to be able to be unemployed, and I don't have children. And so I had a lot of time on my hands.
Mm.
And I honestly was just really tired of not feeling good enough,
Mm.
plain and simple. Um, I think slowly it started realizing that I always had this vision for myself to feel worthy. I just didn't have the support or the tools to help get me there.
Mm.
And that's where you came in. So it's it's beautiful to think that for the new year you started your self-compassion challenge, and that just totally inspired me.
Mm.
Instead of all the hey, new year, new you diet challenges, this self-compassion challenge, I was like, wow, this is what I need in my life right now.
Mm.
And I took a chance to become vulnerable with myself. And it was incredibly amazing to start the year off with a stronger foundation. Um, and when it was announced that you were doing your Unconditionally Worthy course, I was just thrilled because I
Mm.
knew that's exactly what I needed, and I was in the space for it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, I'm imagining that there are so many people who could relate to your story, right? Experiencing childhood trauma and feeling like that set you on this cycle and you weren't sure how to get out of it, right? Like the relationships then sort of reinforce this feeling of unworthiness and the jobs and all these things. And I also think one of the powerful turning points that you mentioned was like being sick of it, right? Like, I think that if we can get to a place where we're like, I am tired of beating myself up and beating myself down, I am tired of feeling that way, that is so helpful because then that seeds the motivation to do the work, which is sometimes hard work, to get something different, to get somewhere different, to get to a different place in our relationship with ourselves. And I think it's really awesome that you were willing to do the work. And I'm so glad that the things that I was putting out into the world met you where you were and helped you with that. And so you've described a little bit about kind of where you were at before taking the Unconditionally Worthy course. And I wonder if you could share just a little bit more kind of the mental and emotional space you were in before you signed up for the course.
Oh, I was in a low place.
Mm.
I was in a very dysfunctional relationship. I had a very dysfunctional relationship with myself.
Mm.
And I woke up just feeling sad, not wanting to face the day. Um, and again, this crippling shame that was so big.
Mm.
It took up way too much space. And
Mm.
you said it. I was ready for a change. I was ready to not feel like that anymore. And I knew that it was definitely gonna be a risk to bet on myself. And I decided that I was worth that risk to
Yeah.
see what could happen, because I already knew what was happening, and it
Mm.
definitely wasn't gonna be getting any better. So it's interesting. I had just finished coming back from a women's retreat for adult survivors of childhood sexual trauma, and your course started the very next day that I got back.
Oh, wow. I remember you mentioning that you went on that retreat, and yeah.
And it was a beautiful thing to get to segue into this accountability for myself. Um, Again, the way you designed the course, I was scared. I was obviously scared to put myself out there and again to invest in myself. But you were very inspiring on what I've learned from you so far, and it gave me the courage to show up and to take the course. And the the mental state from where I started the course 7 weeks later, oh my goodness, like I wake up smiling every day.
Mm.
I feel this joy that I've never felt before. I actually do, I don't pinch myself, but I really do have those moments where I'm like, yeah, this is where you're at now.
Mm.
And to think that so much transformation can happen in 7 weeks, it's really incredible.
Mm.
I'd never done like a challenge or coursework like this before because again, I never felt worth doing that, and it really just showed me the power of believing in yourself, and again letting that support, the amazing support that you offered throughout the course, let that in to help myself grow to this point. It's interesting to see photos of myself from before your course to after. And again, even my body posture is just slumped over, not really looking full on the camera with selfies, just hiding, not feeling good enough. And now I'm taking photos and I'm like, oh, here she is. Like just embracing every part of me, because you've helped me realize that I'm whole just as I am. And it's a beautiful gift.
Yeah. I mean, it makes me teary almost to hear you. And it's music to my ears because that is just what I deeply want for people, right? Like I want everyone to feel like, yeah, like I am worthy. And, for you to go from waking up in the morning, feeling sad, not wanting to face the day, to waking up in the morning with a smile, excited, energized, to sort of hiding in pictures to like, yep, let me get in this shot. Right. And it's just so beautiful. And I love hearing it. And it's been wonderful to sort of see your transformation, that shift in you, see the brightness and the light that is shining from you now in a way that's different from when we started. It's really powerful. And part of the reason that I wanted to have you on is just because I think so many people feel like you did. I don't know if I'm even worthy of this investment. I don't even know if I'm worthy of taking this course. And what if I take it and fail? Or what if I take it and it turns out I'm really not worthy, right? Like all of these fears, right? That then even keep people from being able to get the support or do the work to be able to embrace their self-worth. And I wonder how you worked through those fears or what you would recommend to people who might have those same concerns.
Yeah, the fear, you said it. I think, for a lot of people that do feel like me, because there are, again, I'm a 36-year-old woman, and when you've lived so many years of your life not feeling good enough, it's hard to switch that track, especially when you have time commitments, you have your job, you have children and whatnot, other responsibilities. um, I think something that I've learned from you is that you got to talk to yourself like a good friend and say that you're worth doing this for yourself. You're worthy to feel joy in the day and to not have to carry this pain around anymore. Um, and again, like, you think about things that you spend money on to distract yourself from the healing, to numb yourself from the healing. It's really not that much money when you think about coursework and what you get out of it compared to all the other money you spend distracting yourself from doing the hard work. And I think that was my final decision. I was like, wait a minute, like I can go out and I can, buy food, I can buy new clothes many times as I want, but it's still that cycle. And I'm like, I'm gonna give myself this opportunity to try something new and see how it works out. I think just you got to dig deep and honor that bravery that's really within you, that's gotten you through surviving for so long. To just really take a chance on yourself. And again, it's the great. I'm not a gambler, but that's the biggest gamble I've taken. It
paid off.
Paid off tenfold. Like jackpot. And again, I just am in such deep gratitude for your course and how it's shaped the trajectory for the rest of my days. Like, just it leaves me speechless at times to think, what if I didn't take your class? And I tend to stop at being speechless because I don't want to think about if I didn't get to go through this transformation. I would have been, still very sad and very shame-ridden and lacked the confidence to have made the decisions that I'm making today.
Yeah. Well, I love that you phrase it as like, I'm spending money on things to try to make myself feel better, but it's not actually making me feel better for long, right? The food, the shopping, for some people it's drugs and alcohol and, the next vacation, right? And not that those things are bad, but they don't give us that lasting sense of inner peace and happiness and joy that so many of us long for. And investing in a course like this does bring you there. And yes, it may feel like, oh gosh, this is an investment, and the payoff is real, right? Like the transformation is real. And I so love that that's what you really experienced in your own life.
Yeah, I must highlight quickly that I did choose to quit drinking in the fall, and that was a brave turning point. However, after finishing your course, it helped give me the confidence to stop smoking as well, and fully just be in myself and have the confidence that I am okay no matter what happened to me. It shaped me to get me here, and I'm gonna just choose to be vulnerable to feel everything. And it has been a true gift. Again, what has been inspired from taking your course.
Wow.
And being able to sit with a lot of really uncomfortable feelings. And again, you helped craft the course in such a way that I felt supported through it, through doing some very hard lessons, through having to look back at periods of my life that were difficult. That's the first time I was able to be able to go back and look at these events and kind of sort them out. And again, I just felt very held and supported. And I gotta say, having those Zoom calls weekly were just so amazing. It was quite the accountability that I needed to complete the lessons, but also, again, just wonderful to get to be vulnerable with other women from all over the world. Yes. Who, it was so wonderful, who are choosing to do this really hard work too, and to not make me feel alone in it, and to have that understanding and that support. Because again, from experience, I've felt so alone throughout this whole journey of trying to find my self-worth. And it was absolutely comforting to know, hey, I'm not alone. There's other women doing this too.
Yeah. And I think it's the Zoom calls were so powerful because I can say, you're not alone, right? And you might hear that and think, yeah, okay, what does she know? But when you're in a call with 8 other people and everybody is sharing, you get the experience of not being alone, right? So it moves beyond the sort of intellectual knowing, yeah, other people have had similar experiences, to oh my gosh, this person who seems so wonderful is also struggling with this loneliness or this self-criticism. Yeah, I'm not alone, right? Like it experientially teaches you that. And I think that was, one of the most powerful parts of the course. I'd love for you to share, and you're sort of touching on it, right? Sort of learning the tools to be able to sit with yourself and difficult emotions. And I'd love for you to share, what were some of the biggest things that you felt like you learned or you took from the course?
Oh, wow. I'd have to say definitely one of the biggest things I learned from the course is the power of self-forgiveness and compassion for the self. Again, being stuck in this cycle of shame and just beating myself up for years and years, learning that it's okay to forgive yourself for mistakes, and that all of us make mistakes, and we're not these terrible people, that have to keep carrying that with us. That was definitely one of the biggest things that I learned, because it was reiterated gently so that it was able to help stick with me. Letting go of perfectionism, that was definitely a big takeaway. Again, as a trauma survivor, I realized that it's a coping mechanism. And so often I was like, okay, if I can't do it perfect, then I'm just a failure, or I'm not even going to try. And that attitude has definitely held me back in my life. And learning, again, through your wonderful ability to share and make things so relatable, experiences making them relatable, it really helped me to see and to sink in, hey, life's not perfect. Things aren't going to be perfect. Even getting ready for this call, I'm just like, oh, like, am I ready for it? And I'm just like, yes, you are. You're going to be just fine showing up as you are.
Yes.
That's okay. So it's, I was using my affirmations to be like, yes, I'm worthy. I'm doing just fine. And, another thing along with that, is learning that, let go of the attachments that I've placed and the conditions that I've placed on my worth. I've always, been like, oh, I need to be this size, or I need to do this and this. And I'm happy to report I've gained a few pounds, and I could not be happier. I actually feel comfortable in myself. I'm like, I'm not constantly worrying about what I'm eating or making sure I get my run in. I'm like, I've found this balance where I'm just like, hey, I'm worthy of being, no matter what size I am.
Yeah.
And it's such a beautiful thing. Again, to be able to wake up, to look in the mirror and not just beat myself up over silly little things at the end of the day. I gotta. That's a beautiful thing in itself.
Yes.
A couple other things. There was a lot of big takeaways that I learned in this course. Another one is that I'm worthy of having boundaries. Like that I don't think boundaries, that concept was even in my way of thinking prior to this course. I didn't have boundaries. I didn't know how to have them. I thought I just had to overgive and people please, and that was it.
Mm,
And and learning that it's okay to have boundaries. That's not a negative thing. That's not a bad thing. Um, has definitely helped me get through the days a lot easier. You know, got to do what feels right for myself, and that's taking care of myself. Um, and another takeaway is you've really helped me see through all the lessons in the module is just how strong a person I really am. I think we were all able to realize our inner strength by the end of that course, that like, wow,
mm,
we chose to do this. It's definitely not easy, but it's definitely worthwhile work.
mhm.
And again, was such a gift to get to be able to learn so much. And again, preparing for this, flipping through my notes, I was just like, wow, you can just see the confidence growing in
Mm,
myself along the weeks. And it definitely, I sit up taller. I
mm.
walk with more confidence. I hold myself better, and it feels really good.
Yeah. One of my favorite memories from our Zoom calls is when you shared about, I think you had a meeting or something, and you talked about entering that meeting as your authentic self and like showing up and shining in that meeting. And instead of like just being overcome with worry and criticizing yourself, you were like, I'm going to show up, I'm going to be here. And then you shared with us like it went so well, right? Like it just like you were open, you were confident, and then it went so well. I don't know if you remember that or would be willing to share any more of that experience, because I thought that was such a beautiful example of one of the things that I'm really wanting to help people with.
Yeah, the level of self-criticism and self-doubt that I had prior to this course, oh, it was so intense. Um, just constantly doubting, thinking that I wasn't good enough to be in that space. Why would they even want me here? Um, to be able to, have gotten into that office, it was definitely a highlight in my life because it was a meeting I never thought was ever going to happen.
Mm,
And to be able to have had the inner calm that you help create, through the meditations, through the affirmations, I was able to just relax
mm,
and be myself. And again, it didn't go perfect because that I'm just like that word is I'm letting go of that word because
mhm,
it just I think it's just so detrimental. And I didn't have the things prepared to say that I probably should have had prepared, but I spoke from my heart and spoke from my true self, and that helped me shine. And
mhm,
and that was just I walked out of there just feeling like just joy that I'm like, I just did that. I was able to show up there. I got that meeting. I was able to be my true self. And it was I'm remembering it now as my feelings. And again, to be able to remember my feelings, and that's such a highlight.
mm,
Thank you for that so much. Yeah, it was a big confident booster to
mm,
realize, hey, you can do these hard things. You
yes.
show up where you don't think you might belong, or you don't think that, they want you included. But no, there's a reason why you got called into that meeting. There's a reason
Mhm,
why they wanted to see you and hear from you. And, you just got to believe in your inner self that, hey, you're going to do great. And
Yes. Yeah. And I think that work of, forgiving yourself, right? Not carrying the baggage of last time or the last, this happened before into the meeting, and being compassionate and encouraging and releasing yourself from the perfectionism all set you up so well to be like, all right, I'm going to show up. It may not go perfect, but I'm going to be me. I'm going to allow myself to shine. And, I think that is really the true source of confidence. I think a lot of programs that help with confidence do this like outside in, like just act confident and talk confident. And, there can be some useful things to that. But what I think this course helps to do is develop self-trust, right? Through the process of forgiving yourself, which is often, I think, an overlooked thing in programs, that we need to release ourselves from these burdens of the past. That helps us to release the shame, to be good to ourselves, to be a friend to ourselves, and then to start trusting that we do have something to give. We do have something to share, and allowing that to shine when we show up.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, you just said that so beautifully. The self-trust. That was not part of my program at all. I had no trust in myself that I was making the right choices, that I had the confidence to make the right choices. And again, through the 7 weeks, I embraced fear and vulnerability to learn how to trust myself. And again, it has freed me from so much shame. Like, I still remember that the last Zoom call was June 4th. And I was just like, wow, I don't feel shame anymore when I wake up. And to be released of that, to be free of that after 20 plus years, I mean, it's a good feeling. It's such a good feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sad the course had to end, but I understand all good things have to come to an end. But again, grateful for the valuable resources that I have, all my notebooks that I wrote through. There's a lot of writing, and it's so powerful to get to write, to write it out, and to have something tangible to hold on to see that progress.
Yeah.
And again, to have that resource, because what you created was just life changing. You changed my life, and I'm just so grateful.
Thank you. Maybe speaking of that, I'd love for you to kind of share what your life is like now, right? Sort of after the course. We're recording this a few months after the course ended. I'd love for you to share kind of, what have you noticed? You've started to touch on it, like, but what have you noticed is different about your life now?
Oh, wow. So many changes, and such positive ones. I have a new job that I love. I'm in a relationship, a healthy relationship, where I'm learning how to be vulnerable. And it's probably the most emotionally mature relationship I've been in yet in my life. And it's fun. We're having fun. And I've learned, I think vulnerable, that's like my new favorite word where I'm at, because I'm realizing I'm kind of just starting over in my life. And that's what your course helped give me, a new start, like a new lease on life. I'm making new friends. I'm joining in new groups. I actually, I'm like, okay, I can go sign up for this meetup and see, hey, just show up as myself. And it's actually a really wonderful meetup. It's called Sober in Real Life. And once a month we meet up. They have them all over the US, but I meet up once a month with girls from the Bay Area, and we just get together and be our sober selves and be vulnerable to making new connections. And that's something I never would have done prior to this course. I have embraced trying new workout classes that I, again, would not have had the courage to be like, oh, I don't think I belong in that space. I'm like, no, I'm going to give myself the chance to go try something new and, learn how to work out in a different way. I've fallen back in love with hobbies. I'm playing co-ed basketball again, which is something, yeah, it's awesome. Something I really enjoyed. But again, I took a hiatus because the shame was just so crippling. I was like, I don't belong on the court. I'm not good enough. Why would they want me to play? There's someone better. And now I go out there and I just want to tear it up. So it's so fun. It's so fun. And I think, just the greatest thing is waking up filled with joy for, hey, life's not perfect, but I'm ready to take on whatever's going to come my way today. Not every day is going to be a good day. And it's definitely comforting to know, like, I made it through really hard days. I'm able to have, with the lessons, I've been able to go back and look at these events in my life that shaped me, that weren't easy to deal with, and kind of compartmentalize in a good way. Like, okay, that was then. We made it through, and the self-forgiveness and the compassion to help give me strength to get through whatever's ahead. It's been vital. I really am just, I just keep saying, I'm just so grateful for this course, because I wouldn't have had the confidence to go out and get that new job. I wouldn't have had the confidence to go out and meet the fella that I'm dating. And again, it's just, it's helping me live a less fearful life, fearless. It's just real beautiful. Like, I can't stop smiling. I'm just like, oh, what is this? What's this light and joy?
I love it. I mean, I just think so much of what you're saying is beautiful and inspiring. I think when we're mired in self-criticism and we're drowning in shame and we're overwhelmed with anxiety, it leads us to a very narrow life, right? Like, don't go too off course because you might make a mistake and then beat yourself up, or you might, and it just feels like you're kind of walking a tightrope. It's exhausting. You're kind of holding your breath. You're not sure, like, in any risk, any like, hey, why don't you go talk to that person? Or like, why don't you go for that? Just feels like too much because you're not sure what'll happen if you don't make it. What if you don't get the job? Like, you're caught up in, what if I don't get the job? Or what if they don't say, yes, they want to go out with me, or what if, right? And so small, narrow, gray life. And what my goal was, and what I'm hearing from you is, like, when you're grounded in your worth, life opens up and it's like becomes full color, right? And there is so much space and there is so much room to play, to be like, yeah, I want to exercise this way. I want to play basketball, or yeah, I'm going to try dating again. Like, there's just so much room, and it becomes more possible because you're like, I know I have my back. I know I'm here for myself. I know I'm worthy of good things. And so I'm going to put myself in a position to receive those. And that's what I want, right? I want as many people as possible to be living these rich, vibrant lives, to share themselves with the world in a way that, contributes something beautiful and they feel happy. And so it's just so awesome to hear that has been your experience too. So yes, I mean, so we're getting towards the end of our time, and my heart is just so uplifted by hearing your experience. And I'm wondering if you have wisdom that you might share with listeners to support them on their journeys to unconditional self-worth?
Oh, yeah, I have to say, be patient and be kind during this process, because again, it's not a sprint as much as we want it to be. And I commend everyone who's on their self-worth healing journey for having the courage to want to be healing. I think that's the biggest thing is hoping people realize just how courageous they are for doing what they're doing. I think that there's deep inside, like there was for myself, there was a hope. There was a vision, as narrow and as small as it was, because again, you nailed it when you were speaking about that gray, just small life. There was still a little piece that I always knew that I was going to be able to get to this place. And again, it was with the right guidance and support, and that being from you, Dr. Adia. And again, I just, I hope that people can just continue to trust in themselves, to be vulnerable, and to realize that they are worth the investment of taking this course, because it will change your life. Hands down. Like I cannot say enough good things about you and about what I learned from this course. And again, it's such a privilege and an honor to get to see you and be with you today and share just how much you've changed my life, and how much I look forward to all that's ahead, and having that 80th birthday party. Just, I see it, and I never saw a future for myself, and now because of you, I do. So I think.
Thank you for that. I mean, it has been an incredible honor and joy to witness your journey and to be a support to you along this journey. And I think you have shown so much courage to be willing to do the work. Because as we've said, it is challenging, right? I remember, I think it was like week 5, and everyone was like, this is hard. Everyone was like, I mean, it's good hard. Like, this is the right direction. I know we're supposed to be doing this, but it's hard. Yeah. And I think it just takes so much courage to show up again and again, and to be willing to receive the support and receive the guidance, and to hold on to the hope that it can get better and it can be different. And I think there's something powerful in making the decision to take the course, because it is like hope in action, right? It is saying, what if I am really unconditionally worthy, and I'm willing to sort of play this out and invest in this to see, right? Because part of me does believe that's true, and I'm betting on that, and I'm willing to invest in that belief more than the belief or the fear that I'm not worthy. And as you said, it's paid off. And that is just my deep desire, right? I want everyone to have the experience that you had, the experience that I've had in my own life. I want everyone to live a rich, full color, vibrant life, because it just feels so much better. And as you mentioned, it's not perfect. It doesn't mean everything goes perfectly for me every single day. Like, nothing ever goes wrong. It just means that when challenges happen, I can roll with them, and I don't take them to mean I'm being punished, I'm unworthy, I'm bad, I'm wrong, which then spirals us down. I say, that was a rough one. That was hard. Like, how can I take care of myself in the midst of that? How can I get support? How can all of these things? And so, this course is about giving people the tools, giving people different ways of being with themselves and working with themselves. And, the end of the course is all about your values and what you want your life to be about, and sort of moving and looking forward. And so it's really an honor to guide people through the process. And I'm so grateful that you shared. I was going to ask you, like, what would you tell people who are considering the course? I feel like you've been sort of speaking to them the whole episode, but if you have anything else that you wanted to kind of punctuate as we close out or wrap up, then you could do that too.
Oh, just got to say, do it. Please take this course. Like, I wish, again, that everyone could take this course. And, I'm so grateful that you decided to switch tracks in your career and be helping people this way to be able, again, it's been such a gift. And yeah, you please take this course. You won't regret it. You'll have an opportunity to feel things that you've always wanted to feel. And I have no doubt about that. Again, just thank you so much. I appreciate you greatly.
Thank you, Natasha. So glad to know you. It's also very funny that I don't know if I knew you were 36, but we were like born 2 weeks apart. Like we're like very right in there. We're supposed to meet. That's what that means. So I'm grateful to you. I'm grateful for you shining your light in the course and in the world. And yeah, I'm grateful to know you and have been able to support you on this journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Adia.